Friday the 26th of December and you're in business with me, Abha Bakaya. Now the winter session of Parliament may have been washed out, but the Modi government expressed its resolve to push through crucial reforms despite political opposition. In a move that will help bring in more capital for the fund-starved insurance sector, the Cabinet has approved the ordinance to hike foreign equity cap in insurance. Will this set the ball rolling? And how much will the insurance sector stand to gain from this move? To discuss this, I'm being joined by Arijit Basu MD and CEO of SBI Life. Mr. Basu, thanks so much for joining us today. Just to get a sense from you on how significant...
Good morning.
Good morning. Sir, how significant do you see this development as not only in terms of sentiment or a display of intent from the government, but also in kind of impact it's going to have on the sector on ground?
I think firstly it sends a very positive message to the investing community. The reason is that the foreign investors had been waiting for this bill to come up. It was touted as one of the most important reform measures in the financial sector, and it had not been going through. So the fact that this insurance is now that this ordinance is now in place gives a very clear message that the government is firm, as you rightly mentioned. Secondly, I think this is a forward-looking measure. See, the ordinance has just been passed. I think most of the life insurance companies as well as the general insurance companies, there are 24 in the life insurance sector, they will now start evaluating their own requirements based on the current position that they are placed in, their growth rates, etc. And some of them may have already firmed up their plans, but most of them will now start probably discussing with their joint venture partners and other stakeholders to carry this forward. But if the insurance sector has to grow, if insurance penetration and density has to grow in India over the medium term and the long run, we need capital, and this ordinance sends out a very positive message.
So talking about partners, is there a pre-arrangement between SBI and BNP Paribas Cardiff to take their stake up to 49%?
Yes, there is an arrangement. After the bill is through, BNP Paribas Cardiff has the right of first refusal. They can take up their stake up to 49%. However, as of now, we have not really discussed with Cardiff about their plans. And what they have indicated to us is that they will wait for the ordinance the bill to come through, and we will now start discussing with them as to how much they would like to pick up and what should be the future of SBI Life and how we would like to take it forward.
So just to help us understand this as well, in terms of, given that it's a composite FTI cap, what about IPO plans? In that event for you as well, would a foreign partner's stake not go up to 49%?
Yeah, that is one of the things which we will have to consider. In case all the stakeholders, State Bank of India, SBI Life and BNP Paribas Cardiff, decide that this company should be listed, then we need to have something on the table for the retail investors as well. So therefore, it will be a combination. In case we decide at the first step that it will only be BNP Paribas taking up a higher stake, then that is how it will go. But these are things which will now we will discuss with our partner, and maybe over the next few months we will be able to arrive at some kind of consensus.
And what happens to the likes of Max New York and Aviva, for instance, who have limited headroom to move? I'm just trying to get a sense of how this bill or this ordinance really will go far enough to boost the sector.
Yeah, see, as you rightly said, I wouldn't take individual names, but there are 24 players in the private life insurance space, including ours. Some of them are better placed in terms of capital because of the promoters who are there. And for example, as far as we are concerned, the kind of growth that we are projected for the next 2 or 3 years, even without an increase in capital, we'll be able to sustain that growth. But then I think this is something for the medium term and the long term play. So for the larger players, whereas for the smaller players, it could be that their growth right now is constricted or restricted by the fact that they don't have enough capital or headroom to grow. So for those kind of players, I think there could be an immediate interest to get in some capital from the foreign investors, which could either be their existing joint venture partners, or it could also be those who have not yet got into the Indian insurance sector and into the Indian insurance play as of now.
What about valuations as well, Mr. Basu? With regards to SBI's insurance business as well, I mean, HDFC Life has been valued at about 20,000 crores as per the latest round of fundraising. How are you looking at valuations right now?
We have, I think, analysts have already valued many of the life insurance companies, including ours. I think this is something which we would like to closely look into. Because our aim would be to get the maximum for our company, and so therefore that will be another thing which we will very closely consider when we decide to actually either list or increase stake from foreign partners. I would not really like to comment on what really can be the value of our company, but yes, as you are aware, the three leading players in the private life insurance space is ICICI Prudential, HDFC Standard Life and SBI Life Insurance. And if one of them has been valued at the number that you mentioned, then perhaps we will be at least that number or somewhere perhaps better than that. But I would not like to hazard a guess on that.
All right, Mr. Basu, just a final question. But we were talking earlier about how this ordinance has finally, of course, given the industry some hope that this bill will go through. I just want to understand from you, I know it's been a long time coming, and it's definitely, it gives the industry a lot of hope and will, of course, help to boost the sector. But in its current form, are you happy with it the way it stands? Would you have liked to see anything else as it turns into law?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Actually, the most widely discussed thing about this has been the 49% from the foreign investor. However, there are so many other provisions, which are forward-looking. For example, things like setting up a SAT, Securities Appellate Tribunal. So if there is any dispute, then all the insurance companies can go to SAT. Then there is a clause which looks at, encouraging the electronic form of having the policies. Then there are clauses which help the consumer, which is very important. Now, on some of these clauses, we have had discussions with the appropriate authorities, including the Select Committee. Some of our concerns have been addressed, but ultimately, I think the intent of the bill has been twofold. One, of course, is to open up the sector, and second is to ensure that it is a robust sector which protects the interests of the policy holders and at the same time ensures the industry to grow. So all these have been built into this, the new guidelines, and I'm sure that all the private life insurance players, as well as LIC, which is the biggest player as of now, will take this positively and take the sector forward.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Mr. Basu. Have a great holiday season, and we will speak to you again soon. Thanks so much. Let's take a very quick break here on In Business. Coming up next, will the Modi cheer continue on Deal Street in 2015? We speak to Sanjeev Krishnan of PwC.